Hi everyone. The book I've just finished writing and editing is called The Reason to Write, and it isn't out yet, but it's about to be published. I wanted to share with you a couple of pages from near the beginning because writing them really touched me and made me remember a strange part of my childhood. I've called this Inked In. When I was 9 years old, my father called me down to his study. "Want to show you something," he said. "What, Baba?" "Come with me and you'll see." I followed him into the drawing room, a realm usually reserved for best behaviour tea parties with the great and the good. Once inside, my father shut the door. Until that moment, I'd hardly ever been alone with him before. As one of the twins, I was only half of a whole. No one ever divided us. "Shall I go and get Safia?" I asked perkily. "She's upstairs." "No," my father replied softly, "because what I have to show is for you." Sensing butterflies in my stomach, I wished it were all over, whatever it was. Before I could shoot out a volley of questions, as I tended to do, my father touched a fingertip to his lips. "What I'm going to show you is for you to know about," he said, "and for you alone." "But can I tell Safia?" "No, best not to. Best not to tell anyone. This isn't something for Tahir Shah, the information officer," he said. "Is it a secret?" I asked, scandalized. "Yes, in a way it is." While I held my hand to my mouth, my father went over to the cupboards which spanned the entire end wall. Among them were recesses in which exquisite oriental objects were displayed. With both hands, he lifted a magnificent brass candlestick, a legacy of ancient Andalus, standing as tall as a man. Then with force, he punched the back wall of the niche in which the candlestick had stood. A door swung inwards, revealing a secret cubbyhole. About a metre in width, it rose floor to ceiling and was packed with all kinds of wonders. Sacks and tea crates labelled in Arabic script, ancestral swords wrapped in waxed cloth, dozens of English Eastlight brand box files, reels of 16mm film, and numerous cardboard boxes overflowing with trophies and awards. "I didn't know this was here," I said fearfully. "No one knows except for me and now you," my father said. "Is it a secret, Baba?" "Yes, it is. It's our secret." Again, I felt butterflies, stronger than before. Safia didn't like me having secrets. Twins were supposed to tell each other everything. Reaching up, my father pulled out a file, dustier and more worn out than all the rest. Leading me into a pool of light streaming in, he opened it. Inside was a document. With great care, he turned it so that I could make sense of it. "Do you see what it is?" he asked. "No, Baba." "It's our family tree, stretching back centuries." "How many centuries, Baba?" "More than 20. It's more than 2,000 years old." The tip of my father's finger roamed down through the forest of names, each one written neatly in Arabic. "That's your name there," he said. I read the words in Arabic, mouthing the letters as I'd been taught to do. And as I did so, two things struck me. First, my name was written in pencil. Second, all over the family tree, there were gaps where names were missing. I asked why. My father turned to me, his gaze catching the shaft of light. His eyes were coal black and stern. "This is very serious," he said. "What is, Baba?" "This document. The reason your name is in pencil, the gaps where names should be. I will explain why, and I want you always to remember it. Do you understand?" I nodded, as I always did, even though I never understood. "We are not like other families," he went on. You see, in our family, we are bound by duty. It's a solemn duty that's gone back thousands of years, 2,000 years. Yes, 2,000 years, and it's even longer than that. But why is my name written in pencil, and why are there gaps where a lot of the names should be? I asked again. Because in our family, when a boy is born, his name is written in pencil just as yours is now. And then by about the age of 25, we review what he's achieved. If he hasn't achieved anything or been a good person, his name is rubbed out. And that's why there are so many spaces where the names should be. Sitting on the floor of that cubbyhole in the pool of light, my bottom lip quivered as though I might burst into tears. Am I going to be rubbed out, Baba? I asked. My father didn't answer for what seemed like an eternity. Then he said, not if you make something of yourself. A day doesn't go by without me thinking of that secret. Over the years, I've asked myself 10,000 questions about it. I've questioned why such pressure needs to be laden onto the shoulders of anyone. And I've wondered why little girls never had their names recorded on our family tree. On the rare occasions I plucked up courage to ask my father, he simply said it was the way things were and how they had always been. When Ariane and Timur, my children, were born, the first thing I did after we brought them back from hospital was to write their names on the family tree in thick black ink. At the same time, I have watched myself, as if from a great height, desperately trying to achieve for fear of being erased. Since I'm sharing secrets, I'll tell one. Through all the years we lived at Langton House, I would make a pilgrimage to the secret cubbyhole at least once a month. In the light of a flashlight, I'd stand on a tea crate, open up the file, unfold the document, and check it. Check whether my name was in ink or still in pencil. Slipping in behind the ancient mosque lamp became second nature to me, and I could be in and out within a couple of minutes. As the years passed, I no longer needed to stand on the crate to get up high, although after a while I had to remove the candlestick aside. It sounds crazy, but I became obsessed whether my name had been inked in, or rather, that I hadn't been rubbed out. I've never spoken of it, let alone written of it, but it was as if I were a shadow of myself, a spectre hanging by a thread in an incongruous landscape of my fantastical mind. Being deleted on paper would have been tantamount to being erased from life. I was jealous of my sisters and of my school friends because they were fully rounded, as all other people were. I was the only person I'd ever heard of who was part of who they were supposed to be. For this reason, I latched on to the story my father had written for us as children, the story called Neem the Half-Boy. I was certain he'd written it to remind me of my duty and the fact that his eraser was always within arm's reach. The last day I spent at Langton House was desperately sad. Safia and I were almost 24 and had lived there since we were born. The order of our childhood had become the disorder of relocation. Boxes, boxes, and yet more boxes. The curtains had been taken down, cosy reception rooms in which prim visitors had once been entertained were now cavernous, cold, and filled with echoes. Slipping into the drawing room, I shut the door, sneaked into the cubbyhole, and opened up the file. But I couldn't find my name. The tip of my finger searched for the looped letters of pencil. I felt as though I might collapse. Then I saw it, my name, in jet black ink.